Okay. Okay, hello, hey everyone, how you guys doing? Okay, hey everyone. I know I'm starting kind of late today, but I was recording numerous videos. Tomorrow I'm actually gonna have a pretty long video for you guys. It's a GTA video that I've been spending the last week making. So it's not the lore video. Oh crap, not my horse. It's not the lore video. That video is coming. But this is more of a video talking about this DLC and just my breakdown of everything, and it's more of a rant. Like in the video that's coming out tomorrow, is you guys are gonna see me getting really pissed off at the court center. So it's just me raging at the court center and just talking about everything that's wrong with it, and stuff. And then also later today, I got a really good video coming out. There's this new game that came out recently on the PC. I was actually playing through it a little bit. I'll have the video up a bit later today. I'll try to get to the Metal Gear playthrough. Can somebody tell me when is the new Mafia expansion coming out for Old Country? It's like the middle of August, right? What does anybody know when that's coming out? Because I'm gonna play that too. I gotta play the story DLC in Mafia. What's the game? It's called Book Smugglers. It's a historical game about, you're playing as, like, a resistance member that's, like, in Lithuania when it's being occupied by the Russian Empire. 14th of August. Okay. Thank you for telling me. Hold on 1 second. Okay, 1 second here. I forgot to post this on Twitter. Hold on. Apparently, there's new news. Sony apparently has heard the backlash, and they responded to it, but they're still gonna do no discs. Let me see. I missed a few comments. Yeah, it isn't the government's job to babysit people, but they're so eager to. They want to be your papa. They want to be the ones to tell you no. Yeah, and it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna need the government to cross the street. They're gonna hold your hands. Like I think, yeah, I don't think that a government should be telling grown men and grown women what to do. So if somebody wants to like gamble online, that's their business. I don't think the government should really be I don't think the government should really be telling people they can't do that. I wouldn't advocate, obviously, doing online gambling, but I just don't think that it's the government's job. The only thing I think government should be involved in when it comes to gambling is having like gaming commissions to make sure that the machines aren't rigged and that everything is by chance. That's the only thing I think government should play a role in gambling, really. Well, other than that, if people want to do that, it's their personal business. I don't think government should get involved in that stuff. Oh, I love Fallout. Oh, hey, Champagne. Hey, Pat, last week on Red Dead Redemption 2, I told you I had a moonshine, but I guess you forgot my trader is ready too, and my parents had an anniversary 33 years ago. Oh, well, happy anniversary to your parents, and I can help you with your moonshine, Brandon. I'm sorry if I didn't get the chance to help you last week. Hey, Native Mercenary. Am I gonna complete tier 4 for the court center? Yes. Well, what the?
Soon you'll be rotting in the sun.
You're dying here, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah. I will tell you, if you guys want a challenge, if you want to have more fun on this game, play this game in free aim. It is much more of a challenge than playing this game on auto aim. Hold on, guys. I will look at chat in just one moment. Let me just get rid of these guys because they're just gonna keep shooting at me. Take out the remaining enemies. What remaining enemies? Thank you, Alien and Brandon. Bro, how comes you never made a video doing a live stream of Fortnite Battle Royale during its prime, late 2017, most of 2018? You ever played the game? No. I've never been interested in that. I just don't like Battle Royale games. You know, the closest thing I liked to anything like that was DMZ. Like, I like extraction shooters, so like extraction games, I generally like it. I'm more of a fan of extraction games, because of the fact that, you know, you're exploring an area, you're trying to get loot, you're trying to escape. It's not like where the map gets smaller and smaller, everybody has to kill each other. So I've never just been into Battle Royale stuff. It's just not been for me. Thank you, FR, for the super chat. Thoughts on the planned PlayStation blackout taking place in August? At ATP with Sony just announcing that the Backlash won't do anything. It should be a month. What planned PlayStation blackout taking place in August? You gotta explain this to me a little bit more. I'm confused what you mean by this. I heard the news about Sony saying that they're not backing down. That I heard about. They've been married 33 years, and thanks. How long have your parents been married? And my trader, too. Well, thank you, Brendan, for the super chat. Well, my parents have been together since the 80s, so I don't know if they've... I don't know what year they married in, but I know they've been together since the 80s, so, you know, over 40 years at this point. But thank you, Brandon, for the super chat. The excuse of it's for kids is such a cop-out. They couldn't give a damn about the kids. They just want to control the people any way possible. Yeah, that's what government is doing. Is government is constantly trying to gain more control over its people. You know, that's why they do things like the Patriot Act, for example, just spying on you. Is, you know, government wants more control over your life. You know that saying when people say, like, you will own nothing and be happy? That's what the government ultimately wants. What things you want to be added in Ace Attorney 7? I think what they can do in Ace Attorney 7 is I want them to bring back the jury system. You know, the jury system, how, you had that in Ace Attorney Chronicles. Because I actually really like the jury system in Ace Attorney Chronicles. How you had to convince the jury that the that your client was innocent. I did like that a lot. What they could do is they could improve the investigation days, because the thing about investigation days is investigation days usually are the parts of the Ace Attorney series people don't like a lot. Like, people really like the court parts, like they like that, but the investigation days aren't as popular, so maybe do something to improve it. I don't know what they could do exactly. I was thinking one thing that they could do is they could make Ace Attorney a game where you actually walk around. Like, they could do that. Because it's like where you're moving frames and frames. They could move it where you they could do it where you could actually walk around, like still keep it in the same anime style, like stuff like that, but have it like more freedom where you can walk around, you know, pick stuff up, you know, look at things. Maybe something maybe like the Ace Attorney Investigations, but make it maybe first person, maybe instead. So maybe that's one thing they could do. Thank you, Kaminari. When I join the Reddit online streams, do I usually have to message you to join the lobbies? Also, I've been really enjoying your Assassin's Creed videos. Thank you, Mustang. And the next Assassin's Creed part will be tomorrow. My posse abandoned the job. No, the job abandoned the posse. But, no, you don't have to, message me. I can, you know, invite you. Are you online right now? What's your name, Mustang? And thank you for sponsoring the channel for 7 months. Thank you, dude. Yes, Jetro, you can join. I invited you. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Well, I'm not going to defend piracy here, but I'm going to say this, is that the developers at this point, like Sony and stuff like that, is that they can't get pissed over more piracy happening because of just going all digital. So, like, is that, you know, they have themselves for blame for more piracy happening. Your account got hacked on DeviantArt? Oh, that sucks, Aaron. I'm sorry to hear that. See, in Australia, you can't even play poker on Red Dead Redemption 2 online. What? That's stupid. Defend what, Shiny Knight? Let me look at this article here that Sony says that, I'm gonna read this to you guys right now. You guys tell me what you think. Sony has broken its silence on the backlash to its decision to stop making PlayStation discs. The company announced a month ago that physical games will be discontinued for PlayStation consoles from January 2028, and the decision continues to see fierce debate online. Now, during a Q&A session following its Q1 2026 earnings announcements, Sony CFO Lin Tao has addressed the situation, stating that Sony has been giving the decision to go digital only some thought for a while before announcing it, and it doesn't plan to change its mind. We announced that from January 2028 onward, we will no longer be manufacturing game discs, so we announced it 1.5 years ahead, she said via Sony's interpreter. There are various reasons we made this decision, the biggest being that digitalization of contents overall has been progressing. That's a big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but all kinds of content. Digitalization is progressing. Well, so what? If it's progressing, is that people have the right to own a disc if they want to. And so when we think about the future, we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously considered this, and we came to the conclusion, and we're going to cautiously move this forward. Tao also acknowledged the backlash decision on social media for the first time, stating that while Sony was aware of players' reaction to the news, its focus was on how to keep them interested in PlayStation games when it goes all digital. They're wondering how to keep people interested when they go all digital. We understand those emotions. This decision, we have received various opinions, and people have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forward those views to us, she explained. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases, and so we understand those emotions. We want to consider that, and in the future, digital ecosystems, how do we engage in the gamers, is something that we would like to continue to explore. In recent weeks, numerous developers have spoken out in favor of disc releases for games, with some saying they believe the release of physical, tangible products is an important part of the game playing process. The CFO of Claire Obscure Studio Sandfall Interactive, Gulami Broche, recently said of Sony's decision, "Personally, I find it super sad because I really like video game stores. And even if nowadays I play mainly on PC myself, we have a lot of people on the team who play on PS5 and love to collect physical discs. I think it's a part of beauty of art too, that it's something tangible that you can touch. I completely appreciate that people want to have their own rows of DVDs and games, just feel that they own them. So I think it's a shame, I mean, business-wise. I can understand why it makes sense, but I think it's in terms of the artistry of video games, it's a sad decision, yeah? So, basically, Sony is not going back on it. is Sony is saying that we understand people are upset, but we're basically going through with it still. You haven't heard about it. So basically, like a week and a half ago, the community has started to come together. They're planning a blackout in the last week of August. No playing, no purchases, nothing. The last week of August, huh? I might, oh crap, sorry. I might take part in that. Tell me what the dates are. You said the last week of August? Do you want Athena Sykes Ace Attorney for Ace Attorney 7? Yeah, but in Ace Attorney 7, I'd like to play as Apollo. That's what I'd like to play as, and I'd like to, play in Khura'in. So, like, he's a lawyer in Khura'in now. I'd like to have him do a story in Khura'in. So that's what they were at least setting it up to be. Thank you, Kaminari. What's your thoughts on cell phone bans in schools? Thank you, Isaiah, for the super chat. I think that, I think if phones are, like, if somebody's pulling out their phone and they're distracted on it and they're not, you know, using it in class, I think the teacher could take it, but I don't think they have the right to hold it, you know, after class or even hold it after school. And, you know, that's their property. They can't really do that. Did you see the guy ruining Black Ops 2 on PS5? What guy? What are you talking about? If I do anything about it, it's just gonna give him more attention. That's what it's gonna do. So people know it's not me. They know it's an impersonator. You know, that said, if I took action against it, the guy would just get more attention. Let me see here. The Australian government should be uninvited by Rhonda Wellington Lloyd, added to the geek list for ruining the casinos in GTA Online. I don't know what Rockstar's deal is. Like, they're just so scared of potential lawsuits that they're going this direction now. Hi, did you read my PSN message about my first walkthrough on Halo Campaign Evolved? When you share it, I did other one the next day. Oh, yeah, well, I can share next time, Brandon. Next time you're streaming. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, Austin. Does anyone ever regret switching to Trevor? Michael and Franklin switches are pretty normal. Meanwhile, Trevor's out there doing weirdo things. Yeah, like there's the one where Trevor spawns on top of a building in a dress. That one's kind of weird, too. Sabine Brandt in Watch Dogs Legion. She voices, Mary Reed. Huh. That's the main antagonist, right? Then yes, in Watch Dogs Legion. Heard about an incident where an innocent man was wrongfully convicted on child... What? Abuses in 2020 because he had a similar username? Spent full 18 months in prison. Court only realized it was a mistake afterwards. I'm like, where did this happen? I remember when Twilight was popular back in the day, yes. Am I gonna change to Xbox? Well, if Xbox, here's what I'll say. If Xbox has, discs, if it actually has a disk drive, I might be seriously compelled to switch to Xbox. And that's what it is. You know, Xbox should honestly come out with their next console and say we're doing discs. And that will be a major sticking point to Sony. Do you think the same thing in GTA 6, in GTA 5 weird things? Oh, what do you mean, Brandon? Thank you for the super chat. What do you think your first GTA 6 lore videos will be about? Probably why characters betray you and stuff like that. I usually like analyzing characters' betrayals. No, who's that, Tony? No, I never watched any of the Twilight movies. Brandon, can you invite me to your posse? Let's do your moonshine. Weird main characters in GTA 6, same as GTA 5. I don't think that Lucia or Jason are going to be weird. There's going to be weird characters. I think that Lucia might be the more unstable one. That's what might, might be the thing. Pat, Derek needs you to pay the fee for the barber. I remember, I would say, like, I would say, like, that guy, like, the one worker that Vito beats up. What's that fat guy gonna do? Have me killed? That's, I just love how that guy cursed out Derek. Was it a mistake for Walter White to tell Tuco to relax? As Tuco was too unstable for his own good, it killed him in the end. What's up, bro? Hey, Sil. A weight system in GTA 6 Online? Probably. Canada guy was named Brandon Claymai. Apparently they found no evidence against him, but locked him up anyway. How did this happen? Posse is active? Wait, what? Oh, there. So they might or might not, but they're trying a disc digital feature, which is not the same like buying a digital game. It's a permanent transferable. If you go to a friend's house to play license. That's what Xbox is doing, right? But with Xbox, though, how are they gonna stop people from abusing that? Because, like, couldn't somebody just go to somebody's house and just let them, like, copy the game, and then the person will have the game digitally, and then the person can take the physical game back? Thank you, Blinded Eagle, for the super chat. Can you add me on PlayStation? I could. What's your PSN? Thank you, Moo?
I'm your boss's partner. Me and your boss, we'll be running this whole state.
No, I've never watched the show The Critic. Have you ever played Far Cry 1? No. I played Far Cry 2. Butchie, what are you talking about, NBA? Okay, Brandon. Digital Foundry said the next-gen Xbox was supposed to have discs under the old leadership, huh? I'm confused, NBA. Driver Parallel Lines. Driver, a lot of people have requested I play that. I'll eventually play that, yes. Okay, Moo, I can add you later. Well, guys, there's a possibility that GTA 6 could get a trailer next week, and don't quote me on this. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, so it might very much not. But the reason I say that is because the earnings date for Take-Two is next Friday, and basically about that is that if they have a second earnings date with no trailer, it's going to look kind of weird and investors are going to ask questions. So I think they're going to probably want to have a trailer out to basically get people hyped up at the earnings. Can I do a marathon of the Saw movies? What do you mean? Like, Like, you mean watching it on my own, or you mean making videos or something, or what? So it'll only work on that console then, Blinded Eagle? I lost my grandpa this Monday. I'm really sorry, Caton. You have my condolences. I'm sorry, dude. Guys, I'm not saying that GTA 6 is going to get a trailer next week. I'm only saying it's a possibility because the earnings call for Take-Two is next Friday, and it would look really weird if they put out they go to an earnings without a second trailer, because they said at the last earnings that marketing is going to begin in summer. They said it multiple times, and now it's going to be, we're getting up to the second earnings date now after that one, and there's been no trailer. This is literally not what I said, Pat. It's the opposite. What? Oh, so if you buy a game disc, you put in a one-time, you can then play it digitally. But because the license will transfer from console to console, it takes that worry away. I could look at your message afterwards, Moo. I can't look at it during a stream. Dude, why do you get so angry over people making up fake info for a video game? You act like they insulted your mother. It's not that serious or deep, bro, and it's kind of pathetic. Dude. When people are spreading fake info, they are misleading thousands of people. Possibly hundreds of thousands of people. So I don't like it when people put out fake info because they're misleading people, and they're doing that for easy clicks and easy views, and I think it's dishonest, and I don't like it. That's what I don't like about it. No, I can't move. I can't add during streams. An innocent man spent 18 months in prison after police missed an underscore in his Skyrim username. Investigators mistakenly requested details for the user Fusto Ra instead of Fus Roda Dexerto. And where was this username? Like, what? This was on, like, what? Some kind of site? But that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That is just... Okay, I won't move. What happened to Bully 2? Well, Rockstar probably didn't produce it. Did I ever have acne when I was a kid? A little bit. But, what the thing about acne is, what a lot of people don't know about acne is that a lot of it actually comes from your hair. So if your hair is not, like, really well washed, a lot of that stuff can come from it. So that was, so that's it. So even people that wash their hair can get acne, but, like, it has to be really well washed. And like me, I've had short hair. Like, I had acne when I was, younger, but when I got older and I didn't really like hair that much, I always had, like, a buzz cut, I realized I didn't really have it anymore. So it was, so I know, like, hair is a huge part of it. What are your thoughts on Australia restricting online gambling next year? It's stupid. I don't think it's the government's job to babysit people. Isn't it from stress? It could be part of it, yeah. I'll add you later, Moo. I just can't have people during the stream because I gotta find, who I'm removing and stuff like that. Because I'll remove somebody that's been offline for like years. I'll look into it, D. What are you talking about, Cypher? Cyphex? Do I know any of the history of the Ukrainian Cossacks and the Russian Cossacks? A bit. They were nomadic people. They liked to ride on horses a lot. They had those tall hats. Oh crap, we're getting chased. Bork, hold on a second. I will look at... Stereotypowe traktowanie wszystkich Amerykanów w Kanadzie I Europę przez temat polityki oraz jednostkowych błędów jest niesprawiedliwe I irytujące. I'm trying to understand what you're saying there in Polish. You're saying that stereotypical treatment of Americans in Canada and Europe because of politicians? Can I slow down chat? I could slow down by 5 more seconds. Nintendo tried to sue a store because of the name Mario in it? Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Favorite game of 2015? I don't know. I have to think about that one. Do you think Lucio have a low temper? It's possible. Who do you prefer as a villain, Andrew Ryan or Frank Fontaine? About that is... I don't think that Andrew Ryan was really a true villain. Because... The thing about Andrew Ryan is, Andrew Ryan was generally, like, a good person. At least, like, when he founded Rapture as a city in BioShock. He generally wanted the city to be a place where people could thrive, live their dreams, be successful. He had a lot of good ideas. He was against government. He didn't like taxes. He wanted people to keep all of their money. But unfortunately, what happened was Ryan's utopia started falling apart because of the mafia. You had smuggling. You had also drug addiction. And what he did was he basically, became extremely authoritarian, took things a bit too far. The Rapture Civil War happened. So while you can make the argument that Andrew Ryan was a bad person, but I don't think he was evil. Where Frank Fontaine, on the other hand, is evil. Like, Frank Fontaine is pure evil. Like, there is nothing good about him whatsoever. So, like, I don't think that Ryan was really necessarily, like, an evil person. I think he was a good person at heart. But I think that, you know, just things just did not start going his way, and he became much more authoritarian, and that's what happened. Would you say Andrew Ryan's ego is a factor in Rapture's downfall? Oh, yeah. What a lot of people don't know about Andrew Ryan is that Andrew Ryan is actually not his name. His real name, I think it's Andrei Ryanovich. I think that was what his real name was. Because he was from Russia, or the Soviet Union at the time. He was born in the Russian Empire, but he lived through the Russian Civil War and the Soviet Union, and he basically saw how his family lost all their land, everything, due to, you know, the communists, and he had a massive hatred for government after that. And so he wanted to create a city with no government, where people could basically keep everything that they earn. You know, that was one of the whole ideas of Rapture. Oh, hey, Admiral Raven. Oh, I missed a bunch of comments here. Let me look. After playing Half-Life 2, please play the fan-made games such as Entropy 02, which features Aiden Walker, also known as 3650, a Combine soldier. Okay, I could play through those. Oh, crap, I just fell in the water. I also do want to play that Black Mesa, like, remake of the first Half-Life game, like the fan one. Hey Patrick, I've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, and honestly, I'm so tired of modern Hollywood hero movies which don't interest me anymore. You didn't like it? I think that they're overdoing the superhero movies. When I was a kid, it was like a superhero movie like once every few years, but now we have a superhero movie every like multiple superhero movies in like a single year. It's ridiculous. It's too much. I think they're really spamming it. Like, literally, the Marvel films, do you know what the Marvel films have essentially turned into? The Marvel films have essentially turned into Call of Duty. That's what they essentially have been. How, like, it's every year, it's constantly something over and over and over again. There's milking it. I think that's really what Marvel has really ultimately turned into. Thank you, Isaiah, for that super chat. Pytałem czy wykuraz za czyte ugolnienia patr... Well, Bork, can you write to me in English? Because while I can speak Polish fluently, I have a much harder time reading it. Can you, I'm not that good at reading or writing it. My parents never taught me really to read or write it, so I just spoke it to my parents when I was a kid growing up. But if you can tell me what you're trying to say and... What was my favorite Valve fan-made game? Maybe Entropy 0, 1, or 2, or Operation Black Mesa, Blue Shift, Entropy 0, Uprising. Please play those after Half-Life 2 and make lore videos about Half-Life 2. I actually never played any of those fan games. I have played Valve games like Left 4 Dead before I played Half-Life, but never played any of those fan games, Hamzat, so I don't know which one. I'm still gonna play the Blue Shift. I still gotta play that one. I gotta do a playthrough of that still. BioShock is a pretty creepy game, yes. About Far Cry 2, I really love the one-to-one weapon sounds realism. They recorded real audios of the firearms like the Spaz 12 metallic clank bolt. Yeah, and I love the guns in Far Cry 2. I also love how they can jam and even explode. It's really cool, Jolly. I like some fantasy stuff, like Skyrim in general, I like a lot. Would I recommend buying shares of Take-Two? Well, while I'm not a financial advisor, I can tell you I'm holding Take-Two right now. I I have a bunch of shares of it. I'm still holding it. I'm confident that it's going to grow. I'm confident that it's going to go up. So I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I think it'll go up. But now it's like Take-Two stock is like $243 a share right now, I think. Is it worth buying at that one? Maybe. I think that when GTA 6 comes out, that stock is going to go past 300. That's what I think is going to happen. So, like, some people are saying the stock is going to, like, double or stuff like that from GTA 6. I don't think it's going to go that high. But I think that it's going to go, like, past $300 a share when GTA 6 does come out. Do you like BioShock Infinite? No, not as much. BioShock Infinite, it's not that it was a bad game. I just wasn't into it like BioShock 1 and 2. I always liked Rapture, you know, the underwater city. I didn't like the air city as much. I think it was called Columbia. I think that's what the name of the air city was. Did you hear about Sony responding to the backlash? I did hear about it. Yes, TJ, I heard about it. I passed a super chat. Oh, sorry, let me look. Whoa. Indie film about, dog, what pisses off? No joke, bro. What? What are you talking about, Trav? Thank you for the super chat. Bro, Halo Campaign Evolved. When the game released, they added 6 new armor skins. I have got 2 out of the 6. I think they added, like, a spaceship mission, like a spaceship combat mission that was, like, new to the remake. I forgot to start the posse. Oh, crap, I did. You're right. My bad. I'm sorry. When is the Modern Warfare 4 beta? Wonder if they'll have DMZ in the beta. Also, this, this is a moonshine or a moonshine shack raid. These don't really happen a lot, but this is what happens if your business gets raided in Reddit Online.
I'll bury you. Auxilio! Socorro, por favor!
Looks like I cut his hands instead of the rope. I'll think of something to dress up in Half-Life 2 if I do a playthrough of it, but... Okay, I'll see you, Legend. Take care, dude.
Que alguien me ayude!
The dog crap short film from Docky P. Look it up. I can look it up another time. I can't really look it up now. But what is this about, Trev, exactly, though? How do you draw in Red Dead? What do you mean, draw? I know that if Arthur looks at certain things, he'll draw it in his journal, but there's no, like, feature to draw. A little bit, Gunner. Do you have a closet of all your costumes? Yes. Is high fructose corn syrup dangerously worse compared to sugar? Isn't it literally like the same thing? I know, like, the seed oils, you shouldn't use those when cooking. What's your question, Lord Imperion? Do you think biometric weapons entering society would be a good and a bad idea? No. Because, if it's something electronic, that means that it can be disabled. So just think about this. What happens if an enemy country fires an EMP, right? And just knocks out all the power? Now all the guns are going to be useless. So, like, no. What's my next playthrough? Ace Combat 4 is probably what I'll do next. I was asking if you were tired of the generalizations based on the Polish comment. What, you mean of Americans, Bork? No, Americans do get generalized in a lot of countries they go to. Like, I know Spain was one country where, like, a lot of American tourists got harassed. But it's, yeah, like, people, like, you know, one of the things that I think foreigners really don't understand about Americans, like one of the number one things, is that a lot of Americans, for example, are made fun of that they don't have like a passport. Like, a lot of foreigners make fun of Americans for that. But the thing is, the reason that a lot of Americans don't have a passport is not that they're lazy. It's that they don't really see a reason to travel outside the U.S. Because the U.S. is so large, you can pretty much go on vacation anywhere you want. You want to go to Hawaii, you can do that. You want to go to Alaska, you know, in the winter, you can do that. You want to go to the, you know, desert, you know, go Arizona. You want to go gambling, you can go to Las Vegas. You know, you want to go to big city, you can go to New York. You know, there's just so many places that you could go on vacation. And so, like, really, America, you don't really need, you know, to travel outside if you want to go on vacation. I'll think of something. I know he's, like, wearing the traditional Wolverine suit, Blinded Eagle. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, you guys did? Did I make the posse? No, I still didn't make the posse. Oh, crap. I'm sorry. No, you can't smile in the United States in your passport photo either. You can't show teeth either, too. I'm sorry, guys. I'll do this mission really quick and then just, yeah, disband the posse. I mean, draw your weapon, like, during fights. Oh! How to draw? It's different in this game. In Red Dead 1, it was that if you drew too quick, you wouldn't be as accurate, but if you drew too late, it'd be too late. I haven't done a draw in this game in, like, a long time in a single player, so I cannot remember everything. Summer is okay right now. I'll figure something out, Brandon. I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. Well, I know that Spain had, like, 60,000, I think it was, illegal immigrants that came into Spain. It was, like, the other day. They came into, like, that region of, like, Spain that borders in Morocco. Ceuta, I think it's called. And there's, like, 40 people that have died already. Press R2 on the fire button. Oh, you're talking about the drawing system, right? On the... Am I wearing cowboy boots also? No. Have I ever gone boating in a lake or ocean? I've been on boats before, but we haven't, like, fished or anything like that. No, I didn't hear him, Gunner. Well, let me look. The Combine in Half-Life 2 would do absolute horrible things to you, even if you were innocent. Plus, they would mutilate you into a mindless, called Stalker Plus. They used head crabs as bioweapons. That's why Gordon is not evil. Ugh. Well, I gotta play through Half-Life 2 one day. I gotta give it a chance and play through it. Male inmate spits on judge in Kentucky, pisses you off. Well, he's now getting put in prison for much longer, though. Thank you for the super chat, but that's stupid. He would do that. He's gonna be put in prison for a long time now. I heard about that story that the Dutch once ate their prime minister, but I don't know the full story on it, on how that happened. Who are you the most scared of, Lord Malvo or Lalo, Salamanca? I'm much more scared of Malvo than I am of Lalo, because Lalo isn't really gonna get rid of you if he doesn't think that you're useless. So if you're making Lalo money, he's not really gonna get rid of you. He's a pretty scary guy still, but Malvo doesn't care if you're making him money. If he feels like getting rid of you, he's gonna get rid of you. Like, a lot of people haven't watched, like, Fargo, for example, but, like, Malvo is a much scarier person than Lalo is. Like, I think Malvo's way scarier than Lalo. And Malvo isn't even a big guy. He's not a big guy. But he's, like, he is terrifying. He's just so cold-blooded. Like, it's like he has no soul in his body whatsoever. It's like no heart whatsoever, nothing. There's, like, pure darkness inside of him. Like, he's just such a despicable person. Do you ever, fired combat shotguns, a Spaz 12? No, I never have, but I would love to. Bro, please answer. What's your question, Lord Imperion? Who's the biggest scumbag in Red Dead? Well, in the second one, be Micah. In the first game, it would be, Edgar Ross. No, I haven't. I haven't finished Better Call Saul. Even gaming will go all cloud in the future? Oh, God, I hope not. Favorite weapon from, Half-Life 2? Maybe the gravity gun. I haven't played Half-Life 2, so I don't know, but my favorite one in the first game, my favorite weapon in Half-Life 1, probably the, MP5 with the grenade launcher on it. Yeah, probably that one, Hamzat. Have I ever worked in fast food? No. How do you know about Lalo if you haven't finished it yet? I know about the character. I know who he is. The Madagascar movies, I saw the first one. I didn't watch any one after that. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I liked playing True Crime much more than the Saints Row reboot. I still gotta do a video on those alternate missions. I still gotta do that. I'm excited for the Mafia, the Old Country DLC, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I can find this dude wherever he is.
Take it any easier, you'll end up snoring.
He's right around here. Damn, I don't know where this dude is. Well, yeah, I never got the impression from Gordon Freeman that he was a bad person. You keep sending it, but I think... Let me see. Lord Imperion, what did you... It's not popping up. Do I think GTA 6 will be chaotic and funny like GTA 5? Or more serious like Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 4? I think it'll be a bit more serious than GTA 5, but I don't think it's going to be more, like as dark as GTA 4. Yeah, I was about to say Gordon Ramsay for a second, but I meant Gordon Freeman. My favorite weapon from the Ballad of Gay Tony? Probably the AA-12. Yeah, the AA-12, I like that a lot. The Marines that he killed, well, they were trying to kill him in Half-Life 1. We're on a mission right now. Yeah, if I have time, General. Maybe tomorrow will work a little better. Oh yeah, the Golden Uzi was also great in that game. That gun was amazing. It was awesome, yeah. It's been almost 3 years since Volition has shut down. Yep, it has. Jeremy Clarkson, isn't he the guy from Top Gear? Would I rather play online or story mode games for the rest of my life? Oh, that's a tough one. I know this might sound controversial, but maybe online, because because playing online games is one of the ways that I can communicate and talk to my friends and have fun talking to my friends. If I just played single player games, I think I'd go crazy. League GTA 6 mission, getting Angela Pickles her chocolate pudding at 3 in the morning. Then you have to chase her down after she refuses it. Oh. You know the thing is, when I watched that show as a kid, Mario, that scene, I didn't really understand that scene when I was a kid when I watched it, but then when I became an adult, I realized it much more. Like, some of these cartoons, when you watch them as an adult, you realize much more about them. Thank you, Infinity Daniel. Thank you for the super chat. About the Ballad of Gay Tony, I much prefer the M249. There's GTA 5. Yeah, and they got the P90, the explosive AA-12, the 44 auto mag handgun. That's also great. Oh, hey, Long John. Thank you, Hamzat, for the super chat. Thank you, dude. Hey, Pro, I know you said that Assassin's Creed Rogue is your favorite. And which side do you blame the most, the Assassins or Shay the protagonist? Assassins. The Assassins were clearly the villains in Rogue. Like, they were clearly the bad guys. Like, they didn't portray the Templars as, like, necessarily heroic, but the Assassins were clearly the villains in Assassin's Creed Rogue. Like, they were stupid. They were killing so many innocent people. And on top of that, the Assassins were also creating poison, and they were also controlling New York with gangs. Like, they had gangs that they controlled New York with. So that was something the Assassins were doing. But Chase, is he not a president? Isn't he a dictator? Pat, the sale is bugging. If we kill the enemies before the trader arrives. Yeah, I didn't kill any of the enemies. I didn't. Yeah, that is a glitch that can happen. How will I celebrate the 30th birthday of GTA 1? Oh, did that already happen? When is it coming, Hamzat? Achilles, General. That was his name in Assassin's Creed Rogue. Do you think the Assassins are just as bad as the Templars, or it depends on the era, or Templars are worse than the Assassins? Generally speaking, the Templars have been worse than the Assassins, because the Templars have had much more ruthless characters. Like, a lot of the Templar characters are much more ruthless on how they go about it. But the Assassins have had some pretty bad people too. Like, you had Achilles was a bad guy in Assassin's Creed Rogue, and the worst person in Assassin's Creed Rogue was either Chevalier or it was Hope. Like, they were both scumbags. Like, Hope led up gangsters in New York, which he terrorized people with. And then was it in the other Assassin's Creed Unity, Bellic was a scumbag. Like, Bellic was a pretty bad person. Hey, Pro, I won't be using a lot of super chats. I gotta save up money, but I'm more than happy to support your channel and live streams. Thanks. I appreciate Infinity Daniel, and you don't have to apologize. I always appreciate any kind of support. Thank you. Any super chat I always appreciate. Thank you, dude. Speaking of which, we got that charity stream coming up. I normally would always do it in July, but this July I was just so busy with the update, the GTA update. We will do the charity stream like the second week of August. That's when we'll do it. I haven't decided on what charity yet, but we'll do a charity stream. And whenever I do my charity streams, I always donate live, so I'm not a hypocrite. So I do donate. Every hour I donate. Was Nico the nicest protagonist of Grand Theft Auto? No, Vic Vance probably was. Thank you, Hamzat, for the super chats. Thank you, dude. Thanks, man. Thank you, Hamzat. I don't know if I'll get time to play Future Soldier, but I definitely want to play Wildlands. Thank you, Hamzat. Thank you again. Thank you, dude. You're on fire with those super chats. Thanks, Quick Scopes. Thank you for sponsoring my channel for 2.5 years. Maybe GTA 6 will come out on PC on the 30th anniversary of GTA 1 in 2027. Oh, it's 2027. Well, no, GTA 6 is coming out November 19th. That's when it's coming out. So really, and it's kind of crazy. We got 3.5 months left until GTA 6. Just think about that. That's crazy, right? Huang Li is kind of a neutral character. He has some, cynical dialogue at times. Clarkson's farm. He works as a farmer. I'll try to get to it, Austin. There's just a lot of stuff I gotta take care of first. Xbox servers were out and you can't play physical games on your Xbox Series. Ooh. When did this happen? Well, Sony had their outage and now Xbox did. Thank you, Hamzat. Yes, we can invite you to the posse. We can do that, Jetro. Which Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy is your favorite? Assassin's Creed 2. Compared to Brotherhood of Revelations, Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite one. Your character looks like a young Arthur. Well, thank you. Well, I don't know what you can do now, Brandon. I don't know. Both the Assassins and the Templars are generally, not good. Assassins are generally a little bit better, but, yeah. I will, move. What GTA protagonist do you think is more of a villain? Claude in GTA 3. Yeah, Claude, I would say. What's good, bro? Hey, Angie. How you doing? Which country's food would you only eat for the rest of your life? Oh, that's easy. Japan. Japan has a lot of dishes that I like. I'm a big seafood guy. I like sushi. I like fish. I like crab. I love soy sauce. So it would, Japan's food. If I had to eat, one country's food for the rest of my life, it'd be Japan. Still remember you said your dad worked at a farm for 4 years before he retired. What did he do exactly? Clean up around the farm. He wasn't in charge of animals. He was in charge of more machines and stuff like that. Driving around the farm. I think he cut crops also, but I know he never worked with animals. That I do know. So I don't know everything he did around the farm, but I just know he didn't work with animals. If you ate only Japanese food, you probably look younger too. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my dad didn't own a farm. My dad worked on a farm. Should we be taking Strauss' summer marketing comments so seriously? Pro, well, he said that that marketing will begin in summer, and right now there's what? How many days left of summer is there? It's like 50 days left of summer, around there. So it's yeah. James stole the goods. Wait, what? Okay, Jetro. I gotta take a look at that outfit. Yeah, but they attacked him, though, Zach. The HECU attacked Gordon Freeman. He was defending himself. Silly question, but have you ever thought about working for the CIA, given your interest in law and crime? I would never want to work for the CIA, dude. Never. The CIA has done so many bad things. They've been involved in so many problems, so many coups, so many bad situations, so much corruption. I would not want anything to do with the CIA, honestly. I wouldn't want to work in that group. There are, you know, other government agencies that I would be willing to work in if I had pursued a career in law enforcement. Like DEA, I wouldn't have minded working in. But it's, like, definitely not, like, CIA, no. Not for me. Can you lasso someone who looks so fun? Sure, I can do it. Have you ever been to a hibachi before? Yes.
Pox reading some.
He was a bit more when he was younger, though, Jonathan Reagan. But it also, those jobs did take a toll on him also. Quick question, what's your thoughts on John Kiriakou? You're talking about the former CIA agent. He was sent to prison. I think he leaked something that the CIA was doing, and he got put in prison for a number of years. But about John Kiriakou, he's I've seen a lot of his videos, generally I agree with him in a lot of his videos, but one of the things I don't agree with him on is I don't agree with him when he said that China is not a threat to the United States. He said that. I don't agree with him at all. Like, he said that they pose no threat to the United States. The amount of hacking that China has done, the fact that China has purchased up land all over the United States, especially China's, like, expansion in the Southeast Asian Sea. So I don't agree with him on that when he says that China isn't a threat. Which is my favorite superhero? That's a good question. What would my favorite superhero be? I don't know if you count him as a superhero, but probably Punisher. He's in the Marvel series Punisher, probably. If Rockstar is going to ban the casino in Australia, then they have to ban shark cards too, because I see microtransactions as a form of gambling. Yeah, and people can make that argument. Princess Isabella Castillo. Yeah. Doom or Quake? I've played Doom before, but I never played Quake. Bro, if in US tipping is mandatory, why don't the restaurants just increase the prices? Tipping is not mandatory in the United States. It's not. So you can go to a restaurant and not tip, But the thing is that not tipping is unheard of. Like, if you don't tip, you're gonna get, like, massive looks. Like, if you don't tip. So, it's not, but here's the general rule in America. And this is the rule that I like to follow. If you get, like, okay service, 15%. If you get, like, really good service, 20 to 25%. If the service is just completely crappy, no tip. So that was it. So that's basically what I would say, is that if the service is, like, really, really bad, you don't have to tip at all. They start a posse here.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Same here to Hunter. China is a much bigger threat than Iran. Recently, they were building models of buildings and a warship for a potential invasion. Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know about China is that if China, for example, if China was to take over Taiwan, not only would that be terrible for Taiwan, but it would be terrible for the entire world, because China would now control the majority of semiconductor production, because that's where most of it is made, is in Taiwan. So expect the prices of all of your computers, everything, to skyrocket if that was to happen. The Punisher game, I do want to play it. I don't know much about it, Tony Montana. Dusk, I haven't played. I joined your posse, James. What are we selling? Do you remember when I showed you new Yakuza 0 cutscenes where Lee survived? Well, he died shortly after. Did he? I didn't know that. But at least Lee died knowing that Majima protected Makoto. At least there's that, then. Why do they try to enforce tips when it isn't even mandatory in the US? Plus, doesn't their boss pay them enough already? No, I agree with you. I think I'm not against employees getting tips, but I don't think that you should be, like, necessarily compelled to tip, because it's like you just feel so pressured. And the thing about this is, you know what I find ridiculous? What I find ridiculous is that, like, you're given, like, a tip thing on, like, the touchpad on almost anything. Like, you'll go to a convenience store and you'll just buy, like, a bottle of water, and it'll be like, press, you know, this per tip. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, you'll get that. It's like, no, it's like, I'm just coming in here to buy a bottle of water. It's like, why am I tipping for this? So I think that the tipping has gone way too far at times. I think it gets ridiculous. It is annoying. I will say the crazy thing about the tipping is that what people think is people think that if you tip, like, really high, that you're gonna get, like, really good service, and that is not always necessarily the case. I will tell you this. I tipped once 20% from like an Uber Eats order, and it was like a 10-15 minute drive from my apartment, and I bought like a burger and a few other things, and I gave, like, you know, a 20% tip. And so I had bought a decent amount of food, and I thought 20% was fair, but the girl who was delivering my food got pissed off at me for a 20% tip, saying that it wasn't enough, and she had taken my food and not delivered it. And then I had to complain to Uber Eats, and then Uber Eats basically gave me all my money back. I never know what happened to the food, so I never found out that. There was other times where I tipped over 20%, and I've gotten scammed before. Like, I've had Uber drivers steal my food. Like, I've literally actually had them steal my food, and I knew that they took my food because they insisted on taking a picture with me holding the food, and it's almost every single time I've gotten scammed two times when I ordered food from Uber Eats, and the 2 times that I got scammed, it was always where they wanted to take a picture of the food. Most of the time they don't care, but when they want me to take a picture of the food, it's almost always that they've scammed me. So that was it. So I've given, and that pissed me off. So So just giving like a really high tip doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're not gonna get scammed. I think you should have complained about that guy. Which one? Did you give them a bad review? Oh, the people on Uber delivering my food? Yes. Well, I will tell you the one thing, Hamzat. Um, I don't think there is such a thing as a capitalist crime. I think that the crime itself is government, the government crime, and I'll explain what I mean by this. Because the main difference between capitalism and communism is that capitalism is an economic system, where communism is an economic system and an ideology. That is capitalism. I guess capitalism, you could make an argument, is an ideology to a degree when you have like those crazy social Darwinist people like during the Industrial Revolution. But in general, like capitalism is not really like a social ideology. Where communism is not just an economic ideology, but it's also like a complete social ideology, like on how society should work and everything like that. Capitalism is basically that people can make as much money as they want. That's pretty much what it is, and the right to own property. It doesn't tell people how to live their personal lives and stuff like that, where communism does. So when a communist country commits a crime, it's a communist crime. But when a capitalist, like a capitalist country, like commits like a crime, like the government, it's the government who did that, like the dictatorship. So it would be blamed on the dictatorship or the government, whoever's in power. So like when the United States invaded like Iraq, for example, in like 2003, that's not like the fault of like capitalism. That's the fault of like the U.S. government. The U.S. government, it was Bush who was at fault for that. I have to head out. Have a good night, Pro. Bye. I'll see you, Infinity Daniel. Thank you for the super chat. Take care, dude.
Oh, come on.
My avatar looks like the death hitman from Fargo. Oh, you're talking about Wrench, Mr. Wrench? I guess, because he wears a similar outfit. Yeah, he has a similar jacket. Yeah, you're talking about Mr. Wrench, yeah. What do you think about the communists that say it wasn't real communism? I would say that you can make the exact same argument it wasn't real capitalism, like back at them, because they'll flip out, like they'll constantly complain about capitalism, but then when you can tell them, oh, that's not real capitalism, they'll get really upset about that. How do you feel about flock cameras? Those AI cameras that are spying on you? Like, no, I don't like that. I'm talking about the guy that stole your apple juice. You should have complained. But working in security, I've got some messed up Uber drive stories. Oh, what? You mind sharing some? I'm curious, Zach. Well, North Korea started the war, Hamzat, but, America responded by entering, North Korea again. But you have to think about it. North Korea brought China into the war, too, and North Korea escalated the conflict. And the thing about that is if you look at South Korea, almost no South Korean blames, the United States for the war. They blame North Korea for that. What country do you want to see crumble in today's society? I'll answer your question, but I don't want to say like I don't want to use the word crumble, because that's like implying that you want the country to collapse. If you were to ask me what country would I want to reform, like to change the most, like a country that would fix itself and really, make itself a better country, if I had to choose, it would be Mexico. Mexico, because Mexico is south of my country, and, Mexico has just so many cartel problems, and it just has so much corruption problems. So if I had to choose, like, one country to, like, fix right now, and, like, make it, like, a really good, great country to live in, it would 100% be Mexico. And I think that Mexico has, like, a lot of potential. I think it does, because the corruption has held Mexico back for such a long time. It has. Like, corruption has destroyed Mexico so badly. It has. Is that if there was no corruption in Mexico, or I shouldn't say no, because corruption is almost impossible to get rid of, but if corruption was limited, like it wasn't like to the degree that it is right now, Mexico would be richer than Canada. I do believe that. And I'm not joking when I say that. I think that Mexico would be richer than Canada. I think living standards in Mexico would be better than living standards in Canada if it was not for corruption. I think the corruption in Mexico is like the biggest reason for poverty. I think that is literally one of the biggest problems that's facing Mexico. Your country is the one sending weapons to Mexico. Well, not entirely. It's I don't know if you're talking about Operation Fast and Furious, where the U.S. government sold the cartels, like, hundreds of weapons. Yes, that did happen. It was a stupid thing. And the people in the U.S. government who did that, like Eric Holder, I think should be investigated. But Mexico also, sends so much drugs to the United States. The majority of the drugs come into the United States. But the thing about that is I have seen Mexican politicians, like, when they're asked about this, and they say, like, when they're asked about the fact that most drugs come from Mexico and the United States, you know what they always say? They always say, well, if the American public didn't use drugs, like, these drugs wouldn't be coming in. And it's like, what kind of answer is that? You're basically admitting that your country is sending tons of drugs into the United States, and your response is to blame the people that are addicted to the drugs? Like, so I never like that answer. Like, when I see Mexican politicians say that, like, I just think they're scumbags. Like, I don't like that, I don't like that answer at all. That is not a good way to answer that question. Thank you, Mobinator, for sponsoring my channel. Like, Mexico has everything that it needs to succeed. It has great temperature for farming. It's a large country. It has a lot of coastal areas that are great for trade. There's no reason that it's a great country for tourism. There's no reason that Mexico should not be a successful country. But the corruption is just holding Mexico back so much. It is. I wish Mexico the best. Like, I love Mexican culture, and I specifically love Mexican food. I just love quesadillas, probably my favorite Mexican dish. But it's just such a shame that the corruption that's been plaguing Mexico. Like, the corruption has just really ruined Mexico. It has. The cartels have assassinated mayors and political officials. Of course, I know about that. You want to know the biggest proof that the Mexican government is in league with the cartels? The biggest proof is when the El Chapo, who's locked up in America, like the biggest cartel boss, the head of the Sinaloa cartel, his mother had met with the Mexican president several times, and there's reporters who have taken pictures of this, have shown proof that the president of Mexico has met with the mother of El Chapo, not the current one, the one before this. But when the Mexican president was asked about this, he was all like, "Oh, I don't know who she was just a voter. I was meeting with a voter." That's what he was claiming. No, I do not believe that at all. Zero. And there was also this there was this mayor who got elected in this Mexican town. And he basically promised to get rid of the cartels. What happened to him on the Day of the Dead, which I think is November 1st in Mexico, it's like a very important cultural and traditional holiday in Mexico, he was gunned down in broad daylight, like executed in broad daylight. And when he was killed in broad daylight, it was obvious it was the cartel who did that. They wanted to send a message that this is what happens when you speak out against the cartel, that no politician will do this. And after he got assassinated, there was these huge protests that started in Mexico, like really big protests, mostly like students and young people who were just protesting about the death of this mayor. And they were just so angry about this, and angry about the corruption. And you know what the Mexican government did? They took out water cannons and they just hosed all the protesters down. That's what the Mexican government did. So the Mexican police was literally putting more effort into stopping anti-cartel protests than actually going after the cartels. So, like, I am fully convinced that the Mexican government is compromised. I'm fully convinced it's corrupt. I'm fully convinced it is in league with the cartels. I do not trust the government of Mexico zero at all. So, like, I think that they are in league with the cartels. I do. Let me see here. I have to explain in depth, but Uber restricts certain features for drives based on conduct. One guy wasn't allowed to have the address, which means he had to be sexual offender or violent felon. Oh, that's horrible. That's ugh. Thank you, Zach, for the super chat. What is the safest Hispanic country right now? El Salvador. El Salvador is the most safest, Hispanic country. And it's kind of crazy because literally 5 years ago, El Salvador was considered the most dangerous country in the West. But now El Salvador is actually the safest country in the West. So yeah, El Salvador, like the president of El Salvador, like he went after all the gangs, crippled them, and El Salvador has a lower crime rate than America. So El Salvador. If I was walking down the streets in El Salvador, I would feel 100% safe. There's no doubt about that. It's kind of crazy. I never thought I would say El Salvador is the safest country ever. I never thought I would say that. Like 5 years ago, because it was such a violent country. Its crime rate is insane. Like, but now it's like it's one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Didn't El Mencho call the police chief like he was a personal friend? Yes. But El Mencho called the police chief, and he threatened him. And he told him, basically, like, why are you guys raiding my drug labs? I already, paid you guys off this month and stuff like that. And the police chief was, like, saying, I'm sorry, sir, I respect you, I apologize, I'll tell them not to do it anymore. So, like, the police chief was, like, apologizing to him. I've never seen something like that in America, that, like, a police chief was, like, apologizing to, like, a cartel boss. Yes, we have individual corruption in America, sure, we have corrupt cops, but it's very different in Mexico, because in Mexico, you have, like, entire departments that are corrupt. Where in America, you might have a few, corrupt cops in a unit, but in Mexico, it's, like, entire departments that can be corrupt. That's the difference. Well, yeah, that is what the government of El Salvador did. Anybody, the gangsters in El Salvador are literally some of the stupidest gangsters on this planet. Because the gangsters in El Salvador, they have tattoos that they ink all over themselves. Their gang tattoos, their rank and everything like that. And that literally makes it so obvious for the police to find them. And they used that as fear in the past, but now it went from fear into being a tool to locate them. So what the government in El Salvador did was they went around and checked everybody for basically gang tattoos. Anybody that had gang tattoos, they instantly threw them in prison. What happened was the crime rate just plummeted. Like, the crime rate just fell completely down because these people weren't on the streets anymore. And what happened was, like, I know the media was, like, saying, like, innocent people got arrested, people who had gang tattoos but were not part of the gang and blah, blah, blah and stuff like this. But what I'll say about that is, if you have a gang tattoo and you are not a member of that gang, you are either A, a supporter of that gang, or B, you are a complete dumbass. Excuse my language. So, like, that is basically what I'll say about that. So, like, when they're saying, like, oh, innocent people who just had the gang tattoo got thrown in, like, prison, when I hear about that, it's like, what kind of an idiot would have a gang tattoo in the first place? And even if you're not in the gang, like, what kind of idiot would still have a gang tattoo? So, like, I'm just thinking about that, too. Like, what kind of idiot would honestly have, like, a gang tattoo? Oh, I think the PvP in Red Dead is more fun than GTA. I agree with you there. Thoughts on Ortega ending elections, and do you think he's gonna start a dynasty in Nicaragua? Yeah, he has basically declared Nicaragua a dictatorship. Like, Nicaragua was already a dictatorship. Like, we already knew that beforehand. But the elections were always rigged. So the elections were always rigged. They were never in fair in Nicaragua. But now he basically just said is like, you know, no more elections, I'm president for life. And the fact that nobody in the government is stopping him, it's already proved my point. Like, whenever I told people that Nicaragua was a dictatorship, and they would always tell me, no, it's not, they're fighting U.S. imperialism. Like, I've heard that, you know, that socialist argument so many times over and over again. But now my point has been proven right, that Nicaragua is a dictatorship. Literally, the president of Nicaragua suspended all elections, everything. He is president for life now. It is a dictatorship, that's what it is. Oh yeah, that's true, Fernando. If you have a gang tattoo and you're not in the gang, yeah, they can kill you. Yeah, but Elias, Salieri was always an evil person. Always. He was always an evil person. He just pretended like he was different than Morello, but he was always an evil person. Salieri was never a good man. How polluted was Mexico City? I don't know. I don't know. Why do you think socialists are devils? Well, I don't necessarily think socialists are devils. I think socialism is a stupid ideology, but I don't think that, like, you know, socialists are devils. No. It really depends on who. Like, if I encounter like somebody that like says that they think socialism is a good idea, I'll generally think that they're, you know, not a intelligent person, because socialism has been tried so many times and it's been a failure every single time. But then if I encounter somebody that like what they're doing is they're basically saying that like they're defending like socialist regimes like Cuba and Nicaragua or Venezuela, and they're saying like, oh, these are great places, the people love it, the governments care about the people. If I hear stuff like that, I'm not just gonna think that they're, you know, dumb, but I'm gonna think they're scumbags. So that's basically my viewpoint. And no, I don't think that people that have socialist views are devils or anything like that. I just think that it's stupid to have those views, but people have the right to have them. It's free. It's technically free speech. But if somebody's like defending these regimes, like, you know, a lot of these regimes in like Latin America, then like I'm gonna think that they're a scumbag. That's my view on it. Communists are also not evil too. Some of them had abusive parents, such as Stalin. But Hamzat, the thing is that there are people who have abusive parents and never commit an evil act in their life. And there are people who don't have abusive parents and they commit horrible evil acts. Now, yes, when somebody has abusive parents, it makes it easier for them to turn into a worser person. Like my dad, for example, his grandpa was very abusive towards, or his dad, I should say, my grandpa was very abusive towards him. And yet my dad was never abusive, ever, when I was growing up. So that's what I think about that. Would I live in this time period in Red Dead in real life? No. No, I would not want to live in this time period. You missed my super chat? I'll look in just 1 second, Mario. Hang on. There was a Password Plus puzzle for the Rio Grande smuggled aliens, Texas border and river, that really says something about Mexico. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Mario. Well, thank you. The cartels are just such a problem in Mexico. My horse has millions of thorns in him right now, yeah, because of the cactus, right? Bro, what happens to the property if the landlord passes away? Well, it goes to whoever is the next, you know, owner. Whoever the landlord leaves to the next person. If there is no person, the government is generally going to take control. Long live the 3rd Street Saints. Hey, dude. Thanks for the super chat, yeah. and specifically the older saints too. Is there a time period in history you will prefer to live in the most? I don't know. I don't think so. I generally like this today's life. Maybe if anything, the 90s. But I was even alive in the 90s, but I was only a kid in the 90s and being an adult in the 90s. But yeah. My dad is from El Salvador, and he said the main reason he left the country is because of the danger of the country. What does your dad think of El Salvador right now? Okay, I gotta try to find this target here. Pat, Europeans also sent some stuff in Mexican cartels too. Didn't H&K get investigated for selling 5,000 G36s and other small arms from their brand? I don't know about that. It's the first time I'm hearing it. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just didn't know that. I do know the cartels have connections to Europe, specifically Spain. The cartels take submarines, and they use these submarines to actually get across the entire ocean. And yes, a cartel-built submarine can cross the entire Atlantic Ocean. They've done it before. Cartels have crossed the ocean, and the thing is, when cartels move drugs into Europe, they actually make the most amount of money from that, because just the shipping costs, that they can pass that down, and the risk cost, they can make a ton of money from that. Would I rather live as a black man during the transatlantic or a woman in modern-day Afghanistan? Woman in modern-day Afghanistan. Because you could escape Afghanistan. That's it. During the times of the transatlantic slave trade, there really wasn't anywhere that you could escape to. Really anywhere. Because slavery was legal everywhere. Everywhere. Like, later on, you know, especially when the United States became a country, there was, like, states that, that did not have slavery, and you could escape to them, and generally you would be more safe. You could also escape to Canada, which abolished slavery in 1830. But, like, during the times of transatlantic trade, slave trade, there was nowhere you could escape to. How is it cheaper to move them to Europe than the US? No, it's actually more expensive to ship drugs into Europe than it is into the US. But cartels, they are able to sell those drugs for much more in Europe than they are in America. Well, I think Reagan messed up a bunch, though, Hamzat. You know, when he had the Iran Contra affair, that was really stupid. Pro, I got some landlord-related questions. I'm writing Woody Woodpecker fanfiction. Is it a good idea to build in utilities and babysitting services into rent? I've never heard of babysitting services being offered as part of rent. I've never heard about something like that. But for utilities, here's what I would say. As a landlord, you should never pay for utilities, ever, as a landlord. Now, I'm not saying this to be cheap or to be greedy or anything like that. No, it's not about that. Just hear me out. The reason that I say that you should never, you know, offer to pay utilities as a landlord is because if your utilities are, if you're paying for the utilities and the utilities come with the rent, the people that are living in your house, they are not going to care about the utilities at all. They'll leave the water running, they will leave the electricity on, especially when they go out to work, they'll leave all the lights in the house on. That will add up, you know, stuff like that. If you do want to be nice, what you can do is you can add a cutoff. You can add a specific point in which you would pay for utilities, but then at that point, if it gets higher than that, you're not paying. Or what you could do is you could offer them a service. You could offer them, for example, like mowing their grass, like shoveling snow. I do that for my rentals. But it's But when it comes to utilities, no. I would say no, because people are going to take advantage of that. It's going to cause your rental a lot of problems. Well, yes, the South Africa, I know, invaded Namibia, and then they pushed into Angola during the Angolan Civil War, yes. Do you believe Strauss Zelnick saying that GTA 6 will be the best game ever in his last year interview? Yeah, it's entirely possible. It is. It has the potential to be a really good game. Thank you, Yelix, for the super chat. I don't know how he would react, Jonathan Reagan. No, J8 at X6. Damn, I'm not gonna find this guy. Like, you hate capitalist regimes all you want, but you also need to understand commie regimes are, also horrible. Wait, who are you talking about, Jolly? I don't think that China is ever going to become a fully democratic country. And the reason I don't think that way is because the Communist Party elites will never allow that. There's a lot of Communist Party elites who have massive power and influence, and they will never give that up. Ever. So I don't think so. Damn. Today, August 1st, is my mother's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to your mom, William. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find this target. I usually don't like this mission because I don't like following the trails. I just prefer to ride around. Well, that whole Somalian-Ethiopian war was pretty weird, because the U.S. had supported... There were two communist countries that were fighting each other, but the U.S. supported communist Somalia, because it just wanted to piss off the Soviet Union, who was supporting communist Ethiopia. Oh, you were talking to Hamzat. Okay, Jelly. Yeah, I don't know who would have gang tattoos. It's stupid, even if they're not a member of the gang. Why?
What do you think you're doing here? Get the hell out of here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had a phone call for a moment there.
I'm done with this. You crazy?
You better stop this.
Come on, don't do this to me.
You're in serious trouble when I get out.
Good lord.
I'm gonna get out of these ropes and I'm gonna strangle you with them.
Shit for brains.
Let's see, stables,
Idiot.
vehicles, bounty wagon. Okay, here we go.
Christ on the cross.
Come on. What the hell?
Mother of God. We're not having that.
No, I don't, Jonathan
I'm
Reagan.
done here. You're gonna be so sorry.
What do you think of the last Afghan king? I don't know much about him.
You sack of shit.
Sakes.
Well, they're both disgusting regimes. I'm not surprised, Gunner.
Bastard.
Do you allow tenants to hammer nails in a wall? Yeah, generally. You know, I know they've hanged up like pictures and stuff like that. I didn't tell them that they can't do that, so it's fine.
Bounty, is it? Looks like you done a fine job there. Just throw them in the cell. That is what they're worth.
Have you ever stole from a store when you were younger? No, I never really stole from a store, but I did steal stuff from school when I was like very young, maybe like 1st or 2nd grade. I would steal like erasers, pencils from class, stuff. I never stole from a person, by the way. It was always from like the school. That's what I would take. It was like 1st and 2nd grade. I took a bunch of stuff. Okay. Well, Hamzat, almost no one in Poland supports the, what is it? Almost no one in Poland supports the, Soviet, government, but you say the regime of the Polish, the Second Polish Republic did horrible things towards Ukrainians and Belarusians, and yet people think the Soviets were the ones that, horrible, to the same group. How hypocritical. Well, about the, Second Polish Republic, when Piłsudski was leader of Poland, you know, there were generally no problems. But it was when the Catholic nationalists came to power in Poland, a lot of them did actually discriminate against Ukrainians, discriminate against Jews. That is true. Belarusians. They had harder lives because of that. Piłsudski was a better leader in general because he was a more tolerant leader of everyone. But then if you look at, like, for example, if you look at, well, the Second Polish Republic, you could argue, did some, you know, bad things against Ukrainians. If you look at the UPA, which is the Ukrainian Insurgent Army, and you look at what Bandera and his thugs, if you look at literally what they did against, like, Polish people, like, Bandera and his thugs had basically murdered, you know, 200,000 Polish people. Like, it was like a complete genocide. That's what the Volyn massacre was. It was disgusting what they did. Let me see, stables. Second Polish Republic was kind of like a middle-class country. That's kind of what it was. It wasn't necessarily like a rich or a poor country. Why would you steal from school? Because I was like in kindergarten and first grade and I didn't know better. That was ultimately what. I never really did it after second grade. That was it for me. But I never really even took that much stuff. It was just like pencils and erasers and like other classroom supplies and stuff. No, I would never want to be a bounty hunter. Yes, yeah, there's images of dead kids on trees and people on the ground. They use axes. Yes, the Ukrainian insurgent army used axes when they massacred a lot of Polish people. That is true. And the disgusting thing about that is that the disgusting thing about this is that the Ukrainian insurgent army, that they are, you know, honored as like heroes in modern day Ukraine today. If anybody knows what that has heard about that controversy that happened recently between Poland and Ukraine, where the Polish president took away that medal from the Ukrainian president. It was like the Order of the White Eagle, which is like the highest decoration in from Poland that you can receive. He took that away from the Ukrainian president. The reason for that, a lot of people were saying that Poland was being pro-Russia, and they didn't even read the news or know what that was about exactly. Poland was not being pro-Russia. The current president of Poland actually has an arrest warrant out for him in Russia because he actually had communist statues removed in Poland, and Russia actually considered that a crime. And so, like, because of that, what he did in Poland, he has an arrest warrant out for him in Russia. But the reason that the Polish president had that medal taken away from Zelensky is because Zelensky named a unit a special forces unit in the Ukrainian army after the Ukrainian insurgent army, UPA. And those guys had basically murdered 250,000 Polish people during World War II. And so that is that really angered a lot of Polish people. A lot of Polish people there's some Polish people that are still alive that survived those massacres. And when he basically named that unit after a genocidal group, for a lot of Polish people, that was basically the last straw. And that was, that's why they took the medal away from Zelensky. It was because of that. Hey, Pro, I hope you're well. What's the best way to contact you now that Skype got shut down? I messaged you on Twitter, but I'm not sure if you use it that much. I'll check. Did you sent me a personal message on Twitter? Did you? Then I will check afterwards. What, did you want to make a video or something together? We can do that if you wanted to. But how are you, RPG? I haven't seen you in some time. Hey, dude. When did this massacre happen, Pro? World War II, Cold War? It happened during World War II, but even though it happened during World War II, it's almost like it's a separate event, even though it happened during World War II, because the massacre itself it was not done by the Soviets. It was not done by the Germans. It was actually done by Ukrainian, ultra-nationalists that were basically fighting against both the Soviets and the Nazis. So they were fighting against both factions. Originally they collaborated with the Nazis, but then afterwards they were fighting both groups. And so this group of Ukrainian ultra-nationalists, they basically went around into they went into Polish villages in western Ukraine and eastern Poland, and they basically just massacred everybody. It was disgusting. It was horrible. They even killed children. And to this day, the government of Ukraine actually has statues dedicated to this group. I'm not lying about this. You can look this up if you don't believe me. There are statues honoring UPA, the people who had done these atrocities. There are statues towards Bandera, the leader of UPA who did these atrocities. So that's why, Poland and Ukraine have tried for many years to mend relations and to work together, but it's always this Bandera garbage, which always, ruins relations. It's always that. It's like that. Ukraine has never fully apologized for that, and that's why, Polish and Ukrainian relations have never fully improved. One thing that people don't understand about the Polish-Ukrainian relationship is that they think that the Polish and Ukrainian governments are like the best of friends, considering this Russia conflict, but that is not true at all. They don't like each other at all. Like, the Polish government doesn't like the Ukrainian government does not like the Polish government. The only reason that the Polish government has helped the Ukrainian government so much is because the Polish government sees Russia as a much bigger threat to them than to Ukraine. So that's the reason why. But they've never been truly friends.
People will be real excited to see him go. Thanks.
I heard Bandera was assassinated. Yes, the Soviet KGB assassinated him later in Western Europe. That is true. Did these Ukrainian ultranationalists have any connections to the Galician SS? Yes, they did. A lot of UPA members were originally Galician SS members. That is true. They were. Pro, your history knowledge is amazing. Thank you, dude. Do you have any tattoos? No. Alright, doing poker? Nah, I'm not gonna do it today. I'm gonna get off here in a moment here, guys. I'm gonna have dinner because someone got sent to prison for 18 months and his character's name in Skyrim, he got labeled a sex offender on children and sent to prison. What? I know people told me a little bit about this earlier, but I watched Penguin's video on it. I'm gonna be wrapping up the stream here, guys. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm really hungry. I haven't played poker today. I'll play poker on the next stream. But I'll answer a few questions before I go. Have I ever smoked or vaped? No. Oh, it was Hamzat. No, Tony. What's my favorite flavor of Doritos? I don't know if I've ever had it. I don't know what that is. Yes, they don't like it in general, Jace. It's amazing how knowledgeable you are. Thank you, Juan. I don't know much about it. I know, like, didn't her dad try to take a bunch of money from her, Stevek, in the past? Well, good night, bro. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Zach. The Katyn massacre was horrible. The Soviets killed 20,000 Polish prisoners of war. Stalin ordered that. That happened in, April, 1940 when that happened. But I guess I'll be heading out here, guys. Thank you, guys, for, Oh, Mexican soda. Oh, I've never had it then. But I guess I'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you guys enjoyed the stream, drop a like. I will have a video tomorrow talking about the situation with PlayStation, and then I also got my my GTA video on this DLC coming up soon. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful day.